Producers gain ticket revenue, designers gain content, attendees gain clout, and the actual commerce gets put on the back burner. Hi, I'm Sable, founder and digital event marketing strategist at Sequence RA. Welcome back to Style Chat, a weekly conversation series exploring my honest takes about what's working, what's missing, and what's next for fashion, beauty, and lifestyle events. Today, I'm unpacking something I've noticed after attending and analyzing multiple fashion shows. Are these high-budget shows really worth it? And if so, for whom? We're going to cover everything from pre-event storytelling, post-event marketing, who benefits from fashion shows, fashion clout chasers, and more. As usual, if you're watching the premiere, join me live in the chat. And if you're catching this video later, share your thoughts and fashion show experiences in the comments. Let's talk about it. Fashion shows themselves are often treated like a special gathering to celebrate a designer's hard work and creativity. But that's where most brands stop short. True ROI lies in pre- and post-event marketing. Pre-event marketing introduces the designer and the collection early via email and social media content. Their behind-the-scenes inspiration builds emotional investment. Post-event marketing allows brands to cash in on the excitement by sharing recaps, post-show photos, and direct links to buy featured pieces. Without these elements, a show becomes just an expensive photo op. Let's use an event listing that I came across a few weeks ago for an independent designer fashion show as an example. VIP tickets were going for over $300. Clothing credits up to $500 were offered to ticket purchasers, and other perks were featured from complimentary brands. At first glance, it seemed like a luxury experience, but the math might tell a different story. At a certain point, you have to ask, are we selling clothes or selling the experience of being near the clothes? If your brand profits more from fashion show ticket sales ranging from $150 to $300+ than product sales, the show isn't just a marketing tactic anymore, it's the product. Some designers now host multiple events a year to sustain visibility. In those cases, the show itself becomes their secondary revenue stream. So who really benefits from fashion shows? In multi-designer showcases, the producer profits, not the designers. Designers pay for runway slots, models, and inclusion in marketing, whether it be financial, time, and/or energy expense. The ROI for designers is exposure, not revenue. Without post-event marketing funnels, that visibility rarely converts into sales. Producers sell the stage, and designers buy the hope of placing their collection in front of the right audience who's ready to purchase. For solo shows, the designer carries all the costs and all the expectations. Ticket sales may offset production, but rarely cover the entire cost of the event. These shows serve as milestones or PR statements more than profit centers. That's why sponsorships and charity partnerships become a part of the formula. They help justify the expense. In both structures, the math rarely favors the designer. Producers gain ticket revenue, designers gain content, attendees gain clout, and the actual commerce gets put on the back burner. Fashion shows make everyone look successful, even when no one's actually making money. And that's where the clout steps in. When profit disappears, perception becomes the currency. Most fashion show attendees aren't buyers. They're content creators or supporters to say they were there, just to take photos and post them online. Attendees have already spent money just to get in, and very few plan to spend more once inside. Essentially, the obsession with clout turns fashion events into photo opportunities for attendees instead of financial opportunities for the designers. It begs the question, how many of a designer's real followers can afford to attend these multiple yearly fashion shows with tickets going for a minimum of $150 per person? And how often do they actually purchase pieces from the designer when there isn't a runway show around the corner? Be honest. When you attend a fashion show, are you actually planning to buy something from the collection, or are you just there for the experience and the photos? Another point is that offering a $500 clothing credit looks generous, but it's essentially pre-discounting your own work. Independent designers may do it to make the experience feel worthwhile, but it often eats into their margins. The show sustains visibility, but it's not always viable. If your clients can already afford your luxury ticket pricing, why not focus on direct sales? Later, we'll talk about more effective and efficient ways to promote a clothing brand that actually contributes to product sales. Charity tie-ins are admirable, but they don't solve the ROI problem. Even with the cause attached, most of the revenue outside of the charity donation still goes toward production costs unless the event host can afford to cover the costs up front. The best charity shows make impact measurable, like in the case of Bellevue Fashion Week, where 100% of the ticket sales were donated to the show's beneficiaries because the production company covered the cost of running the show. Charitable purpose can justify the pageantry, but not replace the business plan. Many attendees equate high ticket prices with legitimacy and quality. The higher the cost, the more it feels like luxury, even if the ROI doesn't make sense behind the scenes. It's like the modern version of pay to play, only instead of buying exposure online, you're buying presence in the room. So what's the long-term cost of building your brand on perception instead of profit? Honestly, I can't answer this because I don't have a clothing brand. But if you have a clothing brand, in the chat or in the comments, explain how you balance positive perception while focusing on profit. Now, I want to acknowledge that not all fashion shows operate under the same conditions. Larger luxury houses like Chanel, Dior, Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga, and the like have something smaller brands don't: corporate backing. When you have a parent company behind you, you can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a single show and know it'll pay off in guaranteed press, influencer attendance, and viral social media coverage. These big budget productions are maintaining brand mythology. The return isn't immediate sales, it's long-term equity. But that level of exposure creates unrealistic expectations for smaller designers who try to replicate the spectacle without the same infrastructure or funding. But what I noticed over and over again as a guest at fashion shows is how chaos spills into the front of the house. Late seating, unclear check-in, miscommunication about start times, or entire sections left standing because no one knows where to go. And I always think to myself, this doesn't feel luxurious. It doesn't feel exclusive. It feels unorganized. The irony is, brands work so hard to create an image of perfection on the runway, but the guest experience before the show can completely undo that impression. Luxury should feel seamless, not stressful. Attendees shouldn't have to guess where to go when the show starts, or if they're even on the right list. There's a difference between organized creative energy and chaotic confusion. The former builds excitement while the latter breaks trust. If we want fashion shows to evolve, they need to start prioritizing clarity over chaos. Not backstage, but out front where the brand perception is being formed in real time. Backstage chaos is inevitable. Front of the house chaos is a choice. And it's the fastest way to make a luxury event feel unpolished. So here are my ideas for ensuring that fashion brands, especially independent designers with limited budgets, stay focused on commerce rather than clout. Because while the likes, comments, engagements, and shares are great, they don't always lead to consistent revenue and profit. Focus on pre- and post-event storytelling to build real audience buy-in. Consider telling the story of how the collection came to be, why you use specific materials, what inspired the collection, etc. Replace high-ticket glamour with curated intimacy. Consider invite-only presentations or trunk shows that actually drive sales. It's an interesting way to positively gatekeep your collection for people who actually want to purchase your pieces. Use press access strategically, not just influencers, but buyers and media outlets who have a higher chance of converting awareness into opportunity. The magic of a fashion show isn't the lights or the runway. It's in the storytelling throughout the entire marketing campaign. Designers need to view fashion events as part of a bigger ecosystem, not a standalone spectacle. And that's where Sequin Soiree comes in. Our goal is to help brands move from fleeting moments to lasting impressions. So if you're ready to host an intentionally curated event for your latest collection, visit this website to schedule your strategy session with me. I'll look forward to meeting you. That's all for this week's Style Chat. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and push the notification button for the next chat. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!